the world. He was a caring and courageous person who saw a great need and he filled it.
Do you favor late-term abortion?
He was a hero, and his death must mark a turning point away from the politics of compromise and moral capitulation that have left women in this country on the defense from men like that. We are up against a Christian fascist movement in this country that seeks half of humanity's total submission to the other half. As my friend here is so nicely demonstrating with her Holy Bible, these forces have escalated their rhetoric, their violent attacks, and their mobilization in the past few months, and we must recognize the moment that we're in and act accordingly. But to go back to the basics, why is this about women and not the fetus? There is hardly a single person in this country who has not had pictures of bloody gore shoved in their faces and told that this is about abortion. Or pictures of fetuses floating in these glowing bubbles, as if they exist in some sort of different universe from us, rather than actually inside of other people, women. The anti-abortion movement always focuses on the fetus, 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 fetus. But why is it actually about the woman instead? Because for one thing, you know what? Women's oppression is real. In the U.S. alone, every single day, 3 women are murdered by their so-called partners. Every 6 minutes, a woman is raped. Every 15 seconds, a woman is beaten by her so-called lover. Everywhere we look, we see women and their bodies degraded and commodified. This is the world in which we live in. This is the world in which we make our choices. But even more than that, abortion is not murder because fetuses are not babies. They exist within, they are dependent upon, and they are biologically integrated into the woman's body. Over 90% of all abortions happen when the fetus is the size of the tip of my pinky right here. But even after that, the fetus is still a fetus. It's not a socially distinct person, and it's not a human being whose rights trump the rights of the woman. I asked the president of Feminists for Life whether a clump of cells that small should be more important than the rights of the woman in which it existed, and she said to me, Toulouse-Lautrec was very short too. Are you saying his life didn't matter? This is the sort of anti-scientific BS that these people promote. But to really understand their agenda, we have to recognize that there is not a single anti-abortion organization in this country, including Feminists for Life, which supports birth control. This is not about fetuses. This is not about preventing unintended pregnancies. This is about birth control. This is about sex. And this is about whether or not women are human beings or just walking, talking incubators. I went to Kansas in 2001 to be a part of defending Dr. Tiller's clinic from the onslaught of these hordes of Bible-thumping zombies over here who have been organized around the country to attack this clinic. They were organized by Operation Save America. But even then, I don't think I understood how precious Dr. Tiller was. But now, after seeing the fascists of this country appointed to the highest offices of the land, such as the Catholic activists that Barack Obama just appointed to the Department of Health and Human Services, and their guiding policy, reshaping the culture of the armed forces, preaching on the street corners and from the largest megaphones in the land, from cable news shows, and hearing them time and time again, every time we step out in public and advocate for our rights, scream at us, whore! That's literally what we hear. That's the same thing that the women in Afghanistan were screamed at when they were marching against the legalization of rape this year, which was done under the U.S. elected President Karzai. That's exactly the same burdened by such needless guilt. And after hearing all this, hearing that Dr. Tiller's been taken from us hit me really hard.
Women are vessels.
Before we wrap up, I want to say that to all of the women, and I'm going to just talk to the women for 20 seconds. For all of the women who are here, you can listen, but for all of the women that were here, if you have had an abortion, I support your decision to do so. If you ever considered and you chose not to, I support that decision as well. Love to all of you. But thank you to those who reminded us of what we really are up against, because it helps us remember we got to work hard. We got a lot to do.
Yes. Yeah, I'll just say that everybody's got to speak out. It's not just up to a handful of us. Men too. This could be a turning point here. This is not just, play acting for us. Women's lives are on the line. So stand up, speak out, get involved. This is too important.
It was just one shot.
Pro-life is a lie. You don't care. Women die. Pro-life is a lie. You don't care. Women die. Pro-life is a lie. You don't care. Women die. Pro-life is a lie. You don't care. Women die.
A bullet came to visit a doctor in his one safe place. A bullet ensuring the right to life whizzed past his kid and his wife and knocked his glasses right off of his face.